Okay, good morning. So we'll be today on the first paragraph of the atonement as defense in chapter 2. Okay. You can do anything I ask. I have asked you to perform miracles and have made it clear that miracles are natural, corrective, healing, and universal. There is nothing they cannot do, but they cannot be performed in the spirit of doubt or fear. I'm just going to pause there because I was meeting with one of my sponsors last night, and we were talking about how I was talking about, and they were listening, about how I am very afraid, and how doubt always sinks in, and how envious I am of people who can just believe without doubt. And yeah, it's a hard thing for me to do, and yet I really crave it, and I really want it, and I think the fear is just very tempting. It's in this other book that I read from. It says that love is infinitely more powerful. It might even say it in here, but and fear is like infinitely more seductive. And so I guess it is like a matter of a practice, right? Of turning away from fear. And but it's even hard for me to keep my concentration on the thing that on the miracle, without trying to figure out how and when, and so I get to just keep practicing. Yeah. When you are afraid of anything, you are acknowledging its power to hurt you. I'm going to pause here too because, I just started seeing an internal family systems therapist, and I guess in the internal family systems model, there's this idea that anything inside of you can't hurt you. Like nothing inside of you can hurt you, unless you think it can. And yeah. So like it can't hurt me unless I think it can. Remember that where your heart is, there is your treasure also. You believe in what you value. If you are afraid, you will inevitably value wrongly, and by endowing all thoughts with equal power will inevitably destroy peace. That is why the Bible speaks of the peace of God, which passeth understanding. Yeah, I guess you just can't like rationalize the universe in a way. I mean, according to this book that I read, you also can reach like the higher intellectual centers through science and, get in contact with essence that way. But at the same time, it's just like when you have faith, it's not always going to make sense, but it is going to work out. This peace is totally incapable of being shaken by errors of any kind. It denies the ability of anything not of God to affect you. This is the proper use of denial. It is not used to hide anything but to correct error. It brings all error into the light, and since error and darkness are the same, it corrects error automatically. It reminds me of the other book that I read, The Messages from Michael. I'm actually reading the original transcripts now. And part of what it says is, like, forgiveness is not a phrase, and I know in A Course in Miracles they talk about like forgiveness not really being like the thing to do either. Anyways, it says like forgiveness is not, it's not forgiveness, it's not like an adequate term, it's more like forgetting. So like you remember, you acknowledge, and then you forget it. Like, and then it's done. And that, it's kind of like what this reminds me of, like, oh, okay, acknowledge, like, oh, that thing, acknowledge, and then just forget it and let the miracle work itself out. And it also just kind of reminds me of acceptance. And the peace that comes with accepting what's unfolding in the moment. So, yeah. Thanks for listening.